Hello everyone, this is Rachel here, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being with me for another YouTube video of this week. If you're new to my channel, I always recommend that you check out my website, which is themodernshaman.net. Lots of useful information there in terms of joining some of my teaching modules, my teaching classes and courses, my master class, mentorships. It's all available online if you're really into this and you want to dive in and learn more on your own gifts and your own skills. There's also information about having one-on-one sessions with me. This is what I do full-time, and I'm always available to sit with you one-on-one via Zoom, teleconferencing, or in my home office or on the phone. All of that is also on my website. Okay, so here is the question of the week. It says, Rachel, thank you so much for your videos. I've been following you the past couple of years and always appreciate how your videos hit right on the things that I'm thinking about at that time. In a culture where everyone is picture perfect and gracefully ages and lives their best life, so it seems, how do I get rid of my own masochistic, self-degrading thoughts? I can never seem to measure up, and it always makes me feel like something's wrong with me. I know better than this, and my idea of self-love has me wanting to solve this issue. Self-deprecating thoughts, right? Great question. I feel like so many people can relate to this, because our inner dialogue is so powerful. This is why I love listening to people speak about just anything, really. When you hear people speak in just their regular language, when they're talking about their day, they're talking about traffic, they're talking about whatever it is they choose to talk about, it gives you a glimpse into their inner world. Oh, that's my dog. Poncho, y'all want to say hi? He wants to say hi. What do you want? You want to come in? Come on in. We'll see if he comes in. I left the door open. Yeah, the door is like right behind this video. See, oh, here he comes. Here he comes. Come here. Oh, y'all can't see the floor. He's sniffing around. Come here. Come here. Now say hi. This is my little puppy. He's not really a puppy anymore. Look, there's my puglet. This is my puglet. He's kind of like a piglet if you've ever had pugs. Can you say hi? He's like, I don't know that I'm on TV. Look, there he is. There he is. I'm going to lick my makeup off. That's what he likes to do. He's like, you smell funny. If you ever have a pug, they just sneeze on you all the time. You are so lovely. Look. Look, but they look like little, like a little bear. He looks like a little teddy bear with a squished face. Okay, that's Poncho. Okay, so I'm back to it. All right, so the question about self-depreciating thoughts, what I was saying earlier before my little puppy came in here, was that really when you listen to someone speak, you can hear what their inner dialogue sounds like, because it's often an echo of what's coming out of their mouth, but just directed in other, directed towards other people or other circumstances. But essentially, if you notice that they have that perspective and point of view, it's very enlightening to know that they are going through that within themselves as well, and that type of thought. So, that being said, I want you to know that everyone feels the way you feel. It doesn't take away the weight of it, but it's the truth. Everybody feels that way. Even people that are literally our industry standard of perfection, whether that's on Facebook or whether that's on TV. I mean, even the news broadcasters and stuff, they're like perfect. You know what I mean? They're visually perfect. And look at this. I got my hair done today. I literally, and she always does it really cute when she does. But this is not my norm, okay? No, and even when I do these videos, you put on the makeup, you sit in the chair, you put the background behind you. It's like, it's not reality. And just be aware of that. Everyone feels like you do, even the movie stars. I mean, especially those that we hold as our quote unquote industry standard of perfection. They're the ones that typically struggle the most with difficulty accepting that. You know, they have the biggest insecurities because there's such a chasm, and they know it, between the truth of who they are and what's projected of them. Because no one is perfect. Everyone feels like they're not good enough, like there's things that they don't measure up in, because we are not perfect. I don't know where it started that we were supposed to be perfect. No one is. We are supposed to be on our journey. And that is exactly the measurement in which you can look at yourself and say, am I better than I once was? Am I better? Am I trying? Am I making effort to be insightful on this journey, to grow, to have kind of markers of kindness and maturity and wisdom in areas that feel like you are changing and maturing and growing? Really, if you can say that you're better than you once were, that is a good marker of doing well, right? You are taking the journey and what it has to offer and gleaning from that journey. You know, the culture around us portrays something that isn't real. It's not real. And I know you know this, but if you are comparing yourself to that and ever looking outward, then it's easy to feel and to think those masochistic thoughts, those self-deprecating thoughts that push yourself down in comparison to others that seem to be doing well. But let me tell you, any psychiatrist or somebody in my line of work, people who deal with the honesty of issues, where people come to them and tell them the truth or ask for help and ask for guidance in their life, you find out real fast that even those that are up and seem like they've got it all together don't. All right? Nobody does. Nobody does. Everyone is working on something, and everyone is growing in some way. Otherwise, they wouldn't have reason for a human experience. And the universe is not redundant and superfluous in terms of human life. You would not express if there wasn't something worthy of expression within you. You wouldn't be here without a sense of growth and purpose for your life. So just know that, you know, when I look at your question too, it is good to have morals and ethics and essentially a standard in which you want to uphold yourself to. A code of ethics. And a lot of people get their code of ethics from their religion or their philosophy of life or the way that they treat others and expect to be treated. This is a positive influence in our lives. But we have to remember culture is a very has a very fleeting idea of what is important to it, what is considered moral, immoral, what is righteous and unrighteous, what is good and bad. It's very inconsistent, and it has a mob mentality within culture. We look back far enough, and certain things that were viewed as horrific are no longer viewed as horrific, or vice versa. Something we would never do today that was considered very norm before. So this kind of fluctuation of the cultural norms of what's accepted and what's not is a very surface level movement. And so we have to be loose with our comparisons with ourselves there, because it will always be changing, right? But you and your soul is the unchanging. Your soul has the unchanging spirit within it that's able to view culture, fads, judgments, and opinions with an awareness that these are changing and mobile mentalities that won't last forever. They just won't. They may come and go, or they may last for a certain time. but just in their essence, growth requires change and movement. And so culture creates that, an environment in which we as participating souls are able to experience change. But who we are, never forget that we are the unchanging. That is going through the experience or having the experience of change and culture and growth. And this is available to us from our unchanging state, from our perspective of watching all that is changing around within as part of this human experience. But your soul is the unchanging aspect, it's the eternal aspect. When you ask how you can get rid of these thoughts, honestly, moving your mind away from getting rid of them is the first thing I'd say. It's kind of like when I teach psychic development or creating rules for spirit, because they are energy focused, we don't want to start with the negative, I never want to have these thoughts, or how do I get rid of these thoughts? It's just like saying, don't think of an elephant. What do you get in the mind? A picture of an elephant. So the second you try to get rid of the negative thoughts, essentially, you're starting to bring in that energy of negative thoughts. So I would simply shift into positive thoughts, amplify what it is that you want more of in your life. There's a simple kind of graciousness that you can have with yourself that realizes and just has compassion on those thoughts, that just realizes they are immature in a way. They are the thoughts of a child. When we understand, when we're beginning, we are very judgmental as a child, just as a cognitive development and development of our persona in this expression and identity of knowing what we're not or what we do like or don't like. There's a comparative aspect to that to help us become what we want to be, right? So this is just part of growth that is, when I say immature, there's no judgment there. It's an awareness of, it's a beginning state. It's one of fruition. It's one of creation where we realize something that we don't want to be. And the next natural step is creating what you do want. So move on to the next step with as much ease and grace in your mental transition, which is not staying locked into the judgment of the negative or the negative thoughts, but when they arise, be gracious, like, oh, I see that. Yeah, I feel that. Oh, I thought that. But move next into a thought that is positive, in alignment with that or in harmony with that thought. So if you think the thought, I'll never measure up, then you move into a thought that has grace on that. Of course, I don't have to measure myself by anyone else. I know I'm doing better than I did last week. I know I'm out of that phase that I was in last year. I know I've set boundaries for myself that I never set before. I'm thankful that I have a job that I have. Thankfulness, graciousness, these are literally keys to the kingdom. Keys to peace, keys to joy, keys to happiness. And we aren't kidding. They're simple, but they are super profoundly effective. So utilizing that in your shift of moving towards the negative thoughts within yourself, of just being gracious when you think them, like not harping and beating yourself up, but instead just being soft and moving naturally towards what is positive, towards what has changed, and the truth of that, meaning you're not trying to give affirmations that you don't feel like have a grounded sense of truth to them. Things that truthfully you have changed. Those are identifiable and you resonate with them when you know that they're true. That's why I gave the example of, thinking that you'll never measure up, just thinking, you know what? I'm definitely better than I was last week. I'm definitely better than I was last year. I'm definitely better in my relationship of understanding myself now that I'm doing some self-care and self-assessment. If you can find that vibration of truth and alignment, then it's much easier to move those thoughts into something that's supportive of your soul and allowing it to be. I think that's my advice. That's my advice to you. Be compassionate, gracious, and then align more and more with the truth of your positive movement, because it's there. All right, I'm going to sign off here. Mwah! Blessings to you guys. We'll be back here next week with another video. Stay tuned.